You are entering the Flip to Freedom video experience.
Have I got your attention now?
You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now.
Do you care to know why I earn the big bucks? But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
Now, your host, Sean Terry.
Hello again, this is Sean Terry from the Flip to Freedom podcast. Welcome 2018, the year that everything changes, the year of greatness for you and for me. So, we are in episode 151. We're going to talk about morning rituals that will create massive success in 2018. So I'm huge on morning rituals. I've taught about morning rituals. If you talk to most successful people, they have specific morning rituals. Now, interesting, we run with Kent Clothier a mastermind called Boardroom in the upper tier where guys are doing millions of dollars in business all across the country in real estate. It's called Billionaire Boardroom. And we go to these exotic places, like we're going to Playa del Carmen coming up here in February. So the whole group will go down there, about 20 or 30 of us, and we're hanging out in the pool and talking and scuba diving and doing a bunch of stuff and having great. Masterminding while in paradise. And the interesting thing, when you're talking to them, everybody has a morning ritual that they do every single day that helps them and primes them for success. So what I want to do is I want to talk about the morning ritual. I'm going to give you a couple good book references, a couple good apps that I use that are great for morning rituals. So let's get into it. So if you're brand new and listening to this podcast, this entire podcast, all the shows we have, 150 shows, are specifically about wholesaling houses. And wholesaling houses, if you don't know what that is, maybe you're a fix and flipper, or maybe you're a buy and holder, or maybe you're just kind of skipping, dropping across this and kind of wondering what it is. But wholesaling houses is where you market essentially for motivated sellers. There is about 5% of the real estate market where there are sellers that need to sell their properties, with the keyword being need. They need to sell quickly and they need to sell fast. They don't want to fix the property. They could be a landlord that has a property where the tenant trashed the place and they don't want to put the money in. They want to get rid of it. It could be a vacant property. It could be a fire damaged property. It could be a situation where someone inherited a property and now they want to sell the property instead of the estate. It could be a probate situation. There are tons. It could be a foreclosure, a financial situation. It could be a divorce situation. There's a lot of different reasons why people need to sell their properties and will sell their properties quick. So what we do is, we all know that 95% of the people are going to list with a realtor. They're going to sell at the top price, and that's what they're going to do. But we provide a service for those very few, that 3 to 5% that need to sell quickly. And what we do is we can market for them specifically, and then we can get those properties under contract. So we sign a contract. On that contract is a purchase price. Let's say the purchase price is $50,000. There's a date. Let's say the date is in 30 days, a closing date within 30 days. So that gives us 30 days to be able to find and locate a buyer for the property. We also have what's called out clauses in the contract. If we can't find a buyer, we can exit out of the property, no harm, no foul. So then what we do is we now market and find a buyer. And we find a buyer. Let's say the buyer's at $60,000. We have a contract with the seller for $50,000. Then we get a contract for the buyer at $60,000. So what happens is now we've got two contracts. Now, no one ever ran our credit. We didn't come in with huge deposits and huge down payments. Literally, we're a marketing company. We market for sellers, we market for buyers, we put the two together, and we have one contract for $50,000, another contract for $60,000. We put them together. Now we have a spread of $10,000. We bring that paperwork to a title company, an escrow company, an attorney, depending what state you're in, and we facilitate either an assignment where we sell our contract to the buyer, or what they do is what's called a double escrow or a simultaneous close. Now, when we do that, the buyer brings in 100% of the funds. That means you don't have to bring in the money. They bring in $60,000, they wire in $60,000. of which 50,000 goes to the seller. So they're excited. They didn't have to get a realtor. They didn't have to pay commissions or closing costs or fees. They didn't have to fix anything on the property. They got their $50,000, and for them, it's a simple transaction. You, by putting the two together and being a marketing company, you get the difference, which is $10,000. Now, my question to you is this: what if you do that once a month? What if you do it twice a year? That's it. You find 2 properties a year, part-time, working around your job, an extra $20,000. You can do that, right? Or you can turn it into a business. So this podcast is about, taking it from a part-time thing, making it into a full-time thing, eventually replacing your income, your full-time income, and then taking it into a very successful multi-million-dollar business. So that's what this podcast is about. In this particular episode, when we talk about morning rituals, we're talking about, instead of the technical side of the business of, marketing for sellers and talking to sellers and getting under contract and answering objections and finding buyers and negotiating with buyers and setting up all the means of marketing to be able to get these leads coming in from buyers and sellers, we're going to talk about you, right? You are the most important factor in the equation when it comes to success. Now, we have over 7,000 members in our membership site in the Flip to Freedom Academy. We have thousands and thousands of members on our private Facebook group that we interact with. We have over 8 million listeners that listen to this podcast, and I've got hundreds of questions, and if not thousands of questions from people all across the country. But I can tell you that, is that there's the mechanics side, the technical aspect of it, and then there's the mental side, the you as the person. And the biggest factor that I have found where people have, basically incredible success fast, right, is they have an understanding of of their mental thoughts. So here's the best way to explain it: is you can't think negative thoughts and take positive actions and expect results. You have to think positive thoughts and have positive actions to get positive results. So if you think of negative thoughts like, I can't do this, what if it doesn't work for me? What if I can't find a seller? What if I don't know what to say? What if I screw up? What if I suck, right? What if I'm not worthy? What if it's not gonna work? All those thoughts, and then you take positive actions, you're not gonna get results. You're gonna beat your head against the wall, you're gonna wonder why it doesn't work. Then you have the other person that, guess what, thinks, it's going to work for me. I know it's going to work. I'm going to say the right thing. Even if I don't know what I'm talking to say, I'm going to find out what to say. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to tackle the problem. I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to find a way to make it happen. And they're going to move forward. They got positive expectations. They got positive self-talk, positive thoughts that are going along with positive actions, and they get amazing results. Right? So what this is about, now, here's the thing. I don't care if you're brand new, you're successful, you make 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, or 100 grand a month, or $1 million a month, whatever the case may be, is we all have our internal battles with self-doubt. Self-doubt is the biggest, for lack of a better word, cancer that will eat away at your success. It'll just eat away. So the bottom line is, what we want to do is find the cure. What's the cure to that mental cancer that will literally eat us alive from becoming successful? So that cure is being constantly plugged in to a morning ritual that will prime you to set your day, set your tone, set your week, set your year, set your quarter to move forward and achieve amazing and great things. So first off, what I want you to do is go to flip2freedom.com, flip2freedom.com. Remember that, flip2freedom.com. And I wrote a book, 129-page book. I've had people tell me that they have spent thousands of dollars at seminars and trainings and all this stuff for the same information I give away for free. So go download that book at flip2freedom.com. It's a great book. You'll love it. Also, follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter. All you got to do is search Flip2Freedom, Flip2Freedom on Instagram. We post a ton of pictures on there, a lot of different things we got going on, a lot of lifestyle stuff, some inspirational stuff. It's great. Follow us on Facebook too, and you can follow us on Twitter. All right. So you guys ready to get into it? We got some good stuff for you. We're going to talk about 2018 and how to crush it in 2018. Well, it starts with you, right? If you take the same chaos into 2018, you're going to get chaotic results in from 2017 into 2018, you're going to get the exact same chaotic results. So we got to do something different. So first off is understanding why morning rituals. Why should we do a morning ritual? Why not sleep in, right? Why not sleep in, roll out of bed in the morning, jump in the shower, jump in the car, commute to the office, listen to some stuff in the car. Maybe you're listening in the car right now to a podcast. Maybe you're at the gym, listening right now. Maybe you're, walking around, taking a morning walk or whatever. But maybe you're listening to this and you're wondering, what is the purpose of doing this? Well, first off, number one is that, if you look at successful people, so, I always look at how to get there faster, right? Because think about it. We all have a goal we want to achieve. We want something that we want in our lives. It might be more freedom. It might be more health, right? It might be more success in our lives. It might be more money. It might be, whatever it might be. We're at a point in our life, right, where we are here now, and we have a destination. That means there's a gap from where we are to where we want to be. So we got two different options. Just like if I was going to go, and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now, if we're going to go to California, I can pick a vehicle to get to California, right? I can pick the best Nike shoes. I could go to Nike and I can say, give me your best shoes. I don't care how much they cost. I don't care if they're $1,000. I'm going to buy your best shoes, and I could walk my way to California. That's one way. That's a way I could get there, right? That is, I picked the transportation to get there. Now, that's going to take a long time, and it's going to hurt. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be exhausted. By the time I'm there, I'm going to be ready to pass out. Or I could take a bike. I could get on a bike. It's 2 wheels. It's faster than walking. I could get on a bike, hop on a bike, and I could ride to California, right? Yep. Well, there's a couple different things have to happen. First off, I have to have a map. I have to know where I'm going, right? I have to have a destination to be able to get there and figure out the shortest path to get there. Then I have to pick a vehicle that's going to get me there as fast as humanly possible. Obviously, sneakers aren't going to work. Obviously, a bicycle is not going to work. Then I can pick a car, right? That's going to take 5.5, 6 hours to get there. I got to take a car, right? Then I could take a jet. I could take a commercial airline. I could get on a commercial airline, wait in line, do all this stuff, get on the plane, go in there, go up and down. I'll be there in about an hour, hour and a half, but I have to deal with all the 2 hours of getting there and dealing with everybody and their brother. Or I could fly private, right? So those are our different options to get from point A to point B. Some take longer, some are more difficult, but eventually you'll get there to your end destination if you know where you're going, number one. And I always want to look at how can I get there faster? Well, there's 2 ways to get there faster, right? Either A, you find someone who is already there that says, hey, forget the Nikes, you know what? Forget the bike, forget the motorcycle, forget the car, you need the private jet, right? So that's one way. You got to find someone that's already there that has done what you want to do, and then you follow their advice to get there as fast as humanly possible, right? That's number one. And number two is you can look at what people have done and you can duplicate them. You can duplicate that in your life. You can duplicate what they have done. So there's a book that Tim Ferriss wrote. It's called Tools of Titans. And what he did is he took all his podcast people that he interviewed on there, and he kind of boiled them down into a really thick book on what they have done to achieve success. Now, it's a great book. Where you can actually look at some of the most very highly successful people in our country that we look at and idolize, and they're essentially there, right? And they've got there, and basically you can duplicate, you can take things from them, and duplicate it in your life to get similar results, right? To get there the fastest. So, and one of those, if you look at Tools of Titans, I think out of all the people he's interviewed, but except maybe one or two, every one of them have a specific morning ritual that they follow to go out and achieve amazing success. And that's how they attract some amazing things in their life. Now, I also said this second way, right? There's 2 ways. One is you can duplicate someone, you can find someone that has what you want, and you can follow their advice of how they got there. The second way is pick a faster vehicle. Right? So we talked about the shoes, talked about the bike, talked about the motorcycle, talked about all these different ones, right? So if you're in a vehicle and maybe your vehicle is slow, maybe you're on a moped, right? And you want to be in a private jet. Well, the thing is you're going to get there faster, obviously having a faster vehicle. So what's a faster vehicle? Maybe doing this on the side, maybe doing your own business where you can generate substantially more income that can help you get there faster. So you might be listening to this podcast, you might have a job and you might love your job, but you're looking, holy cow, it's gonna take me forever at $50,000 or $100,000 or $80,000 a year to get where I wanna go. Maybe I can add this and get in a faster vehicle. I could get there quicker by, guess what? Maybe if I do 5 deals a year, it's an extra $50,000. It's gonna get to me to my destination quicker. So those are a couple different things we can do. So now here's the thing. What's the benefits of a morning ritual, right? Well, number one, it creates absolute clarity and focus in your life, right? Or, well, let's put it this way. If we follow these steps we're gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about 7 steps, and I'm gonna kind of go through them, then I'll explain them, of what we can do to create a morning ritual in our life. But the bottom line is, if you know exactly where you're going, your destination, San Diego, California, from Phoenix, for an example, right? If you know exactly specifically where you're going, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it's like, right? And then you can literally, it creates that focus, clarity. And that morning, you can really focus in on what you want, and you're bringing that into your consciousness every single morning, actually every night. It creates clarity and purpose. So also creates a relaxed intensity in a chaotic world. So the world's crazy, man. If you wake up to an alarm, you roll out of bed, jump in the shower, grab your morning coffee, sit down, eat, shovel down breakfast, jump in the car and go to work. Guess what? It just creates a massive chaos, and you're just constantly in anguish and stress and just anxiety and, this ebb and flow of life, and you just feel like you have, no control whatsoever. But if you wake up and you're centered and you're focused and you follow this morning ritual, what's going to happen is you're going to find that you're going to be in a chaotic world. Your world will be placid. Your world will be relaxed instead of being constant in putting out fires and stress. It also puts you in the flow, right? It puts you in the flow where you can become more productive on less time. The other thing that it does, it gives you that edge. What does the edge mean? The edge means this, is that, great ideas come from, come from being aligned and knowing exactly what you want. And what happens is you'll get a flash of inspiration. You'll meet the right person in the right path at the right time with the right deal that's going to make you, it's going to be the success. When it comes to this business, right, you're going to send out mail. You're going to have the right seller call you with the right house, with the right deal. And everything's going to be put together and work perfectly in your favor. And it becomes unexplainable. Right? How does one person, they have all the success and they having great things happen and everything just lines up perfectly for them and everything just falls into place great, and the other person seems like they're just struggling, and they go on appointments and they meet sellers and they have a bad experience and they have sellers that call and yell at them and da. It's a big mess. Or they put things together and it falls through and it's a big, So what happens is that what it does, it creates that edge for you, and that edge is understanding the universal principles of the law of attraction, right? And once you understand how that works, you can attract the things, and the universe, God, will literally line people, places, events, circumstances, give you ideas that will change everything. Here's the deal, is that people go, oh, I'm going to dream about money or think about success and think about this thing, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to hum, and all of a sudden, out of the sky, a bag of gold is going to come down, strike me, and I'm going to get rich. right? That's not how the law of attraction works. That's not how it works. Basically, how it works is you're setting an intention, you're putting it out in the universe, and what will happen is you're gonna get a lead, you're gonna get a hunch, you're gonna get a flash and of some sort of inspiration. And what will happen at that particular point is that you will then act on that lead, that hunch, that inspiration, that flash. You'll meet the right person that will line up perfectly for you on the perfect thing. And guess what? Everything will just line up perfectly for you. And if you take that aligned action, it will turn into the success that you want. For an example, a seller's not going to call you out of the blue if you don't at least send mail. Yeah, you don't, if you're using the RVM lead machine, you don't send voicemail drops, you don't send, the bottom line is it's not going to work if you don't have some sort of action. But guess what? You're going to be inspired in a way to get the right list and get the right mail piece and put the phone number on there. And guess what? When you put that out there in the universe, the right people will be attracted to you and they will call you. Okay, so let's talk about these morning rituals. We understand the benefit of doing it. And I can tell you the benefit, of not doing it. It's just when everything goes to hell in a handbasket. It seems like everything just everything sucks. There's always crisis after crisis after crisis. Everything doesn't line up perfectly. And you're wondering what the heck is going on, is because we are out of sync, we're out of flow, and we're out of balance. All right, so now I want to recommend a book to you that kind of, I'm doing morning rituals for years and years now, but the book I want to tell you about, and I highly recommend that you read it, kind of put it into like a 7-step process. And I have kind of modified the steps that kind of make sense to my brain to make it work correctly. And it's amazing what it's done for me in such a short period of time. But McCarthy is the author, and her book is called Path to Wealth, not Pathway, Path to Wealth. So we will put in our show notes, we'll put a link to McCarthy. I think she's on Amazon. So if you can notate that, Chris, I'd appreciate it. So McCarthy, Path to Wealth, her book, great book. I highly recommend it. I actually bought the book, and I actually bought it in an audio book on it as well, and I listened to it. It's a phenomenal book on explaining what she says is interesting, and how she frames her relationship with the universe, God, in her life. So her basically premise is this, is that in our business, in our currently business, I have a COO, which is Chief Operation Officer, Brandon, a CFO, Chief Financial Officer, which is Chelsea. And we have other people in our business. You might have a Chief Information Officer, which handles all your web, properties and stuff like that. You might have a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. Well, how she frames it is what's called a CSO. Well, in her, a CSO is Chief Spiritual Officer. So in our business, I have a meeting with Brandon, our Chief Operations. I have a meeting with Chelsea, our Chief Financial. Have a meeting with our Chief Information Officer. Have a meeting with our Chief Marketing Officer. So in business, you have meetings with all these different heads of their departments, and then you get information that helps you make a decision to move your business forward, and you get strategic advice and stuff like that. So what she basically said is, guess what? Why not have God, the universe, whatever you believe in, as a Chief Spiritual Officer, and hold a similar meeting in a similar fashion with an agenda with this Chief Spiritual Officer, of how she frames it. So it's interesting because I like the way she framed it as an essential, almost like a meeting, right? So you put it on your schedule, you show up on time, you have a specific agenda that you do, and it becomes a routine or a ritual in your life. So for me, my time is where my actual time where I meet with, and I'm religious, so I meet with God, and that's the Chief Spiritual Officer. Chief Spiritual Officer could be the universe for you, or whatever you believe in. The bottom line is that you meet with the Chief Spiritual Officer at a certain time every single day. every morning and follow these particular 7 steps. Now, the interesting thing is, for me, it's my daughter, wakes up about almost 6:45 or 5:45, gets ready for school. I make her breakfast around 6:30. So I'll get up before her. I'll spend a good half hour, 45 minutes, kind of, it's pitch black, especially now in the winter. Turn on the fireplace, grab a cup of coffee, grab some lemon water, and I'll sit, and that will be my basically time where I can focus. And then after I drop her off to school, I have about 10, 15, 20 minutes after that, and then I'll get ready and go to the gym. But in that period of time, this is what I do in this ritual, this 7-step process. So the first thing is understanding the process of a positive, futuristic, basically expectations. It's really not expectations. It's affirmations, I guess you could say. And affirmations could be a single, affirmation. But what I have done, and which I've learned from John Carlton, which is one of the most successful copywriters on the planet, one of the most highly sought after and paid copywriters. He wrote a blog post that I found years and years ago that I've been implementing on what's called a January letter. A January letter is where you write a letter in January now, right? 2018, but it's dated January 15th, 2019. Okay? So what you're doing is you're mentally putting yourself as if it's January 15th, 2019. So put yourself there for a second. A year has passed. It's January 15th, 2019. Picture yourself right there. Okay? Now, what this letter is documenting everything that has happened for the year in a journal style format. So essentially, a January letter could be, oh my gosh, this was the best year of my life. I got in the best shape of my life. I had the best relationship with my wife, best relationship with my kids. My business completely took off this year. And get real specific, and I'm being generalized right now, but very, very specific on each aspect of your life as if it's already happened in not that it's going to happen, but it's already happened, as if it's already happened. And when you talk in the place that it's already happened, your brain cannot tell the difference as if it happened or you're expecting it to happen or it's already happened, especially if you visualize. Now, pro athletes use this in sports all the time. What they do is they'll picture themselves throwing the basket. Michael Jordan used it, Tiger Woods used it, Jordan Spieth used it. Other golf greats have used it, but they'll picture the actual ball in the air, the arc, and then floating into the net. What's his name from Golden State Warriors? Steph Curry. Amazing, right? Guy's amazing. He can sit there, he can just throw the ball up in the air and the thing just goes in the hoop. Why? Because he's done it 1 billion times in his head. He sees it and he can do it. And what that does, it literally programs your mind as if it's already happened. So we write this January letter as if it's already happened. And then we're basically saying, and we're programming as if it's happened. What happens is everything lines up to make those things happen. Now, I tell the story of a January letter where I wrote out the letter. I had on my letter, I said, oh my gosh, it was incredible. We went to Napa. We had a blast. My wife and I at the time, this was a handful of years ago, never went to Napa. And it was in October. It was so beautiful outside. We had an incredible experience. We went wine tasting. It was a great, amazing experience. We had so much fun. It was a blast. So I put that in my January letter back in the beginning of January. Well, what happens is it came up and it was September, end of September. And I was reading my January letter and stuff, and I was busy. I had events going on, had things going on. I kind of let it go, and she was busy doing stuff. And it was the end of September. Nothing really happened. And I was like, well, maybe we'll pass on this one and we'll go, do something else or whatever. And maybe it's just not going to work out that we're going to Napa. October's a week away. We're not going to be able to go. because then we had my daughter's birthday was coming up. There's a bunch of things, right? So interestingly enough, end of September comes, we get a call from a friend, says, hey, I got this whole trip set up. We've got this beautiful house up on the hill. It's like a 5,000, 6,000 square foot mansion up over the hill on a vineyard, overlooking the vineyard. It's absolutely amazing in Napa. I've got all these things completely lined up for wine tasting at Schramsberg, which is if you know, it's an incredible champagne. They have all these caves that were made. You know, it's unbelievable. We went to like Silver Oak. We went to James Campbell. We went to a bunch of other, killer wineries. But everything was all set up. So he goes, everything's set up. We're looking for a couple that can go. All you gotta do is pay your flights and half for the trip, or a third for the trip, and you guys are in. And literally the next week, we were on flights to Napa, having an amazing trip that we didn't even plan, didn't even schedule, didn't even do, and it was all lined up perfectly. And I know for a fact it was in October because of this January of setting the attention and the universe lined up. I could have never planned it. Everything lined up perfectly, and it was the most amazing trip ever. Another interesting story is sharing the January letter. A guy named Nazar, all over Facebook, great guy, came to my first event, one of my events in live event in Dallas, Texas. He was there, dreads down to his back, just got fired from his job. I brought him up on stage. He's telling this story. I'm talking about, and this is years and years ago, talking about the January letter and how it's effective. And he goes, hey, I'll try it. So he wrote his January letter out. And in his letter, he talked about how he wants to take his dad to the Super Bowl. Now, at the time, he didn't know how he was going to do that. He didn't worry about the how. He just wrote down in his January document, oh my gosh, it was incredible. We went to Super Bowl, had a blast, it was perfect, as if it's already happened, right? So he didn't worry about the how, because at the time, he didn't even have a job. He's never done wholesaling before. This was the first time he was there. He had dreads down to his back of his head. And not that those are bad or anything, but he didn't look like a businessman at all. Not that I do either. But the situation is that he had no means of how to make that, especially go to the Super Bowl, fly to the Super Bowl, take his dad, buy tickets, and go and have an amazing time. But he wrote it in his letter anyways, trusting and having faith that it would work. He posted on Facebook, right at the time. He goes, I don't know how it happened. It was just amazing. Everything lined up perfectly. It was great. Him and his dad at the Super Bowl, holding up tickets, flew in there, had a blast, and he said it was the most amazing experience he's had in his entire life. And he credits him writing in the January letter for that. Now he's went on to be an incredible success, makes hundreds of thousands of dollars flipping houses, and is crushing it. So the January letter works. I in the Facebook group, I ask, hey, has anybody done their January letter? What's the results? And we get post after post after post after post. Oh my gosh, this happened, that happened, this happened. It's been just a huge, huge success. So the January letter, you write a letter now in January, right? And you write it as if it's a year ahead, and you're documenting everything that's happened as if it's already happened. Now, I use what's called, let me see what it's called. It's called Day One. It's a daily, almost like a journal type of thing, Day One. But it's cool because you can make different journals in there. So I have in Day One, I have my January letter in there, and it's dated January, I think I did it January 3rd, 2019. And it's my entire January letter that I have in this that I can have on my computer, I have on my phone, and I'll read that January letter every morning and every night before I go to bed. But first off, you got to create the January letter, and that's something that will be part of the morning ritual. And what that creates is a clarity. It gives your brain, right? Because we have the conscious mind, which is our forebrain, and we have our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind, Maxwell Maltz, that wrote the book Psycho-Cybernetics, talks about what's called a servo mechanism. A servo mechanism is essentially, and I used to be a Marine, it's almost like a guided missile that guides itself to a destination. And what happens is our forebrain, our conscious mind, gives our subconscious mind or our servo mechanism the direction on where to go. So it corrects its path on where to go. The problem is if you sit down and ask people and you go, hey, let me ask you a question. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be in a year? Where do you want to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want to do, right? People go, I don't know. Or it's not crystal clear. Not 100% crystal clear, specifically what they want to do, what they want to be, what they want to have, and what they want to become. So what this does, the January letter, not only gets you 100% clear on exactly what you want, but it allows you to write it down. And I put it, and I created one, and it allows you to create different journals within the Day One app. And so I have one, the January letter, and I have another one for my, which we'll get into, is our daily gratitude. So step one was we got to create a January letter that gives our mind specific focus on exactly where we want to go, puts it into our subconscious mind, and basically that's what puts it out to the universe, puts it out to God, and basically what happens is it lines people, places, events, things, ideas, circumstances, hunches, things will come to you that will allow you to basically achieve what you want to achieve. So the second step is after we create that letter, what we want to do is put ourselves in a receptive state, right? So when I drop my daughter off to school, I'll listen to her book, which is great. The book that I was telling you, Path to Wealth, right there. So I'll listen to that, or you can read different things. So when I come back, I'll read, or before I'll read some inspirational stuff. Like one is a great book called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence, Scovel, Shinn. Again, Chris will put that in the show notes for you so you can have that. It's called Game of Life by Florence, Scovel, Shinn. Another great thing is a Bible app, which is great. And I have different plans in the Bible app that I use that I kind of following and kind of go through, which is pretty cool. Kind of gets you on focus, inspirational things, gets you in a receptive mode. And another thing is called an app called Jesus Calling, which is a great one. I read it every single morning. It's a phenomenal, and it's amazing how I literally, God talks to me through that app. It's amazing. Like, every day I was like, oh my gosh, it's exactly what I needed. So it's a great called Jesus Calling app. Again, Chris will put that in the show notes for you. And another thing is book of the Tool of Titans. You can read each day, Tim Ferriss wrote, Tool of Titans, each day about one of the titans that he has in his book. Okay, so what we're going to do is we got our January letter that's going to create, and that's a letter we're going to reference all year long, twice a day. The second thing is step number two is read something inspirational so we get in a receptive mode. Number three, part of this meeting. So now remember, let me go back here, right? This is done at the same time every single day. Right? And this is essentially your meeting with your CSO, just like your CFO, CEO, CMO, right? It's your meeting with your CSO, your chief, or meeting with God, or meeting with the universe, whatever you believe, right? So the thing is, you're having this meeting every single morning at the same time, and you're there, you're prepared as if you're in a meeting, right? So what do you do in this meeting? Well, first off, you read inspirational stuff to get in a receptive mode. Second thing is you read and feel your January letter. So now you got your January letter. It's in day one. Maybe you have that app and you're going to put it in there. And you read through it and you actually feel it with emotion. I read it out loud to myself in a low tone with emotion, and I can see it and I can feel it, and it puts me exactly what I want to accomplish, what has accomplished as if it's already. So in 2019, when this year in 2018 is done and all these things have been accomplished, I will feel like an epic, like it was the most epic year ever. Now, we want to kind of stretch our goals. We don't want to go, well, how is it going to happen? We kind of want to push ourselves to things that, hey, maybe we don't even know how it's going to happen, but guess what? We're going to put it out there and let the universe and God line up things for us. So anyways, we're going to read our January letter with feeling, and I read it, and mine's pretty lengthy. So there's sections in there about my relationship with my wife, relationship with my kids, the trips that we take, the vacations we take, my health, level, my body from level, from working out to my business, overall business, to individual projects that we're working on and the success of those different projects, to is all sorts of stuff, right? And then my personal finances, what I want to accomplish and do. It's a whole January written as if it's already happened, right? Written now as basically putting myself as if it's January, 2019. It's already happened. So now, I'll read and fill my January letter. That's step 3 in this meeting with the CSO. And step 4 is write a gratitude letter, right, to God, universe, the CSO. Now, what does that mean? Now, there's gratitude in being grateful for what you have, and then being grateful in writing it as if it's already happened. So let's say something hasn't happened yet, but you have it and you want it to happen in the immediate future. You can write a gratitude statement basically saying as if it's already happened. I am so grateful that I went out and I got my first 3 deals and they were amazing. The sellers lined up perfectly. They came from, whatever lead source they came from, and I met with them and they were receptive and I signed contracts with them. I got them under contract and I turned around and sold them. I found the right buyer. It was perfect. The closing had no problem. And I went out and made an extra $25,000 or $30,000 and it literally changed everything. I was so excited. It felt great. Right? That would be and now let's say you haven't accomplished it, but guess what? You're giving thanks that it's already happened. And what it does, it puts literally out in the universe and it will line up the right people, places, and things for you like you've never seen. Now, interestingly enough, Brian Tracy said, develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step toward achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. Oprah Winfrey talks about being thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough. So what's that? Focus. Right? What does the gratitude letter do? It allows us the January letter allows us to focus on everything we want, everything we're grateful for, everything that have been accomplished. And then every day we write gratitude letters are for the immediate future things that you want to accomplish and be and do and have in your life. And you're giving thanks for everything that has happened, everything you have in your life, being thanks and gratitude for everything that's going on great in your life and everything you want to have go great in your life. And every single day you write that great. Can you repeat it? Can you repeat stuff from previous that you're working on and stuff? Absolutely. And you do that every single day. You write down these gratitude, everything you're grateful for. And it puts you such in an amazing, receptive flow of a state that it's great. Now, Willie Nelson says, when I started counting my blessings, my whole life turned around. What does that mean? Counting blessings, being grateful for what you have. It's a part of that. Now, the next step, step 5, is visualize, right? So now you have your January letter, you've read some inspirational stuff, you've wrote your gratitude letter to the, to the CSO, and then now you visualize and picture your perfect day as if it was the perfect day of everything going smooth and everything's going great and everything lined up perfectly and everything being amazing, and lines up perfectly, right? And you're setting the stage of what you want to happen. Now, expect, number 6 is expect leads, hunches, and signs. What does that mean? Now, have you ever had a gut feeling to do something, like drive across town, but then you put it out and you go, I don't want to drive across town for what? I don't need to drive across town. That's a hunch. Or you have a lead or some sort of lead, or somebody says, hey, maybe you should do something like that. Or maybe you have a hunch or a flash or a sign for something. So what happens is that when you write your January letter and you put specific things you want to accomplish, right? Things you want to accomplish, things that you're grateful for, as if they've already happened. What the universe does is lines up those things for you, but they don't stand there and knock you on the head and go, here's this. what it does, it leads you in a path, in a direction that will allow you to achieve that particular result. So what you have to do is be 100% expectant and receptive of looking around you for flashes, hunches, signs, leads, that will come in that will lead you in a direction. Let me give you an example. So I set the intention that we wanted to release a software program in 2018, right? So I set the intention out. This was late in 2017. Well, we went down the path of looking for software developers. We went looking for the right software, the right idea that would make sense. We're looking at CRM softwares that we could do. So I basically set the intention. I want to have a software, and I was grateful. Thank you, Lord, for the perfect software, for the perfect way that everything will work great and everything will be, successful, and the right people lined up for the right thing, and we could launch it out. And it was highly receptive to our. That was my gratitude. Daily gratitude, part of my letter and stuff like that I wanted to achieve. Now, I had no idea what the idea was going to be. I had no idea what the software was going to be. I had some ideas like a CRM software, a platform or something with some dashboards and stuff like that. It was sexy, but it was okay, right? I didn't feel amazing about it, right? So, and then software development literally takes a year. Or two to do, costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do, to be able to put it together. And then there's a bunch of technical support behind it that's just crazy. So, but I put the intention out there. I didn't look at how it was going to happen or all the obstacles of putting it together. And I didn't specify the channel of how it would essentially come to fruition. But every day I wrote my letter. Hey, I'm grateful that I was as if it's already happened. Well, recently we found a new marketing method, ringless voicemail that was amazing. And then we found a software developer that had a platform but didn't really have a good marketing engine behind it. So I called them up, and here's what happened: is we were talking about the product. We used it. The actual service in our business. It was working phenomenal. It was crazy, creating amazing leads. And we're working. It's like, wow, this is something we really want to bring to our subscribers and our members and people, because I know it would make a massive impact and a benefit in their life. But how can we essentially do this? To be able to make it happen. So we called up. So at the time, we were sitting in our one of our Monday morning meetings. We brought everyone together, and we're kind of talking about how can we basically do this. And I just had this flash of a gut feeling. I was like, what if we call them up and they're the software developers and we're the marketers. What if we create basically a synergy with them to where we can basically use their platform, we can modify their platform to work for what we want to accomplish, and then be able to launch it to our network. And basically call them up, put the whole deal there. It cost me a bunch of money to do, but it was phenomenal, right? So we put the whole thing. Next thing you know, within 2 weeks, we have a completely customized platform that does this incredible marketing engine that creates leads just almost instantly. It's amazing. The RVM lead machine is amazing. Creates these amazing leads. And we have a great support system with them. Everything. It's amazing. The whole thing all the way around. And basically created with them a non-compete in the entire real estate niche. And all the real estate investor, real estate agent they will not create a similar type of vertical, as type of product, and release it within the real estate industry vertical. So we cornered the entire market. Now, let's put it this way. I put this in my gratitude letters of all this happening. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know who was going to set it up. I didn't know what even the software. This is better than I ever expected. It's better than I could even imagine or even wrote up or even conceived, right? But it came in a flash. We happened to trip across this buried site that had this great software platform, put it together as a marketing engine, and they're ecstatic to have us on board because we brought some really, really good people to them. So that's how that works. right? That's how, that's how that basically, it was a flash. It was like, oh my gosh, that'd be, and got on the phone and called them up and worked the deal out. But those type of things come, in unexpected ways. It's better than I even expected. So we have to expect leads, hunches, signs, things like, that, and just follow those, and things will line up better than you can even expect. But you have to set the intention. The next one is, after that, so you go out so that's where you're visualize, you see your day, see everything, and then from that point, you're going into your day expecting leads, hunches, and signs. You might get some days I do, some days I don't, get basically leads or sign. Here's another one. So I have the intention to build a 1,000-unit apartment, actually 982-unit apartment portfolio in 2018. That's part of my intention, part of my gratitude letter, probably what I write. I write and read and visualize and stuff like that. That's a part of my thing. So recently I had a gentleman that I know quite well through my masterminds and networking group brought me a deal of a 118-unit apartment complex that we are going to partner on and basically build. Now, that deal came out of nowhere, called me up and say, hey, I got a smoking deal. You want to partner on it? So we're going to partner on the thing, 60-40, 60 him, 40 me. And we're going to basically go out, raise the capital for it, create a syndication, and own 118 units that's going to bring in a ton of cash flow that's on the way to the 982 units. Now, I didn't tell him I wanted to do that. I said, hey, you're doing great stuff. And we talked. But guess what? It was lined up, happened to call. He didn't really know what I wanted to do or create. He just asked me if I wanted it, lined up perfectly with what I wanted to create. Because I wrote every single, here's what I want, here's what I want to accomplish. All of a sudden, boom, everything's just lined up. It's in my January letter, right? How would you explain that? You can't. So people go, well, I don't want to believe all this, mumbo jumbo and all this doesn't work. I'm just going to sleep in extra, I'll get in the shower, get my car and go. Nothing's really going to change. Good. You do that, and keep living whatever you're living, right? But this stuff works. And you wonder how, and you look at people that create amazing things, have amazing lives, and you're going, holy cow, how do they do all that? And amazing, it's this. It's the edge. Right? Having a CSO that can line things up for you once you're 100% clear on exactly what you want. So that's step 5, step 6, step 7. Read and feel your January letter before bed. Read and feel it before bed. So before I go to bed, right, I usually take a shower, get ready, stuff, go to bed. And talk to my wife or whatever, but I'll have my phone and I have my day one app on there, and I'll open up my January letter and I will go through and I'll read it before I go to bed. So right when I go to bed, that's what I'm thinking about, and it goes into your subconscious mind and boom, it solidifies what you want and it basically lines up. Now, there's another cool app that Jason referred me to, which is pretty killer, but this app, if I can find it here, where did I put it? This app is called Think Up. Think Up, right? So if Chris will put that in the show notes for you. So it's called Think Up. And Think Up, what Think Up does is you can record your January letter and read it in your own voice. And what it will do is it will turn it into a meditation device. So you can listen to it as in a playback. It will play music behind it. You can select the music you want, select the music behind it, and you can listen to it so it's going directly in your subconscious mind. So if you really want to speed up things, do that. Take your January letter, read in the Think Up, right? Put some cool music behind it. When you go to bed, you put that in and guess what? All your January letters going right in your brain, right past right? Because when you go to sleep, it's going right in your brain, right in your subconscious, and you're going to sleep, and guess what? It's basically just programming exactly what you want and lining up things faster for you. It's a great, really, really cool app. All right, so good stuff. Now, I want to share a video with you that I thought was incredible. It talks about gratitude and the power of gratitude and what gratitude does in your life. And I can tell you, if you get one thing out of this, you forget the 7 steps, forget the hunches and the signs and all this type of stuff, and all you get This entire episode is I have to be grateful every single day when I wake up. Because here's the thing, is when you complain, it lines up everything you don't want. If you are grateful, it lines up everything you do want. So if you're gonna pray, right? If you're gonna pray to God and you're sitting praying, oh my God, whatever you want to pray to, pray the universe, pray. Praying, right? It's like complaining is praying for what you don't want. Gratitude is like praying for what you do want. So here's the thing. So many people complain about everything. I'm this and that, and this sucks, and that sucks, my life sucks, blah, blah. But if you switch it to gratitude, make 2018 the year of gratitude, that's why you writing your gratitude letter every single day gets you to focus on everything you're grateful for, everything you love, everything you appreciate, everything that's going good in your life, which guess what? Just like Oprah Winfrey said, be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never have enough. People envy other people for what they have. Oh, I wish I had that. Or they envy other successful people. All right? That is the worst thing. It's not poisoning them, it's poisoning you. Because you're just gonna get more of what you don't want. So you gotta listen to this video. If you guys are listening, if you're on iTunes or if you're on YouTube right now, watch this video. It's a great video on gratitude. I know you're gonna love it, and I'll see you on the other side.
Gratitude and giving thanks is really one of the most powerful things you can practice every day if you are committed to achieving anything in life. It's no secret almost all truly successful people talk about the power of gratitude. It's that feeling of being blessed. It's getting grateful with those things you do already have that attract more great things into your life and really just give you the drive to get more, to go out and work for more. When I write down what I'm grateful for, it's always for the things money can't buy. Thank you for my drive. Thank you for my mental strength. Thank you for giving me the courage not to give up all those times when it seemed impossible, when I know 99% of the people would have given up. Thank you for giving me that strength. Thank you for the character to keep going for months, for years and years without any progress until I turned it around. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my family. You see, these are my real blessings. Money is easy. It's easy to make. It's easy to spend. And when it comes to the end, we can't take any of it with us. Let's make truckloads of it, but let's not stress over it. Thanks for giving me that fire, that mentality to go out and get my dreams. I conquer my goals. I see so many people void of life, void of spirit. So many people that give up and live lives that they don't want to be in just because it's easy. And I'm so grateful that will never be me. I'm convinced one of my greatest secrets to success is that I am always insanely grateful for what I do have. Be grateful for what you have now, and you will soon have more to be grateful for. When I start my day off writing all those things I am grateful for every day, my day starts with power, with pure positive power. Then I'm ready to smash the day, to seize opportunities. My mind is clear and positive, and that energy is so valuable to my creativity and my future success. If there is one thing that I could recommend to all those seeking success, get grateful.
All right, I thought that was a great video. If you guys are listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're at right now, get grateful. Get grateful, right? Get grateful for what you have, grateful for what you want, grateful for everything that's going on great in your life. Guess what? We always can find good stuff that's going on great in our life. It's the process of focusing on everything that's going great. Grateful. And if we, every morning, we read our January letter, we focus on what we're grateful for. Listen, I can tell you, and I want you to post comments at Flip to Freedom or whatever. I want to hear, go to Instagram, make sure you follow us on Instagram, whatever. Go. I want to hear your stories of applying this. Do it for 30 days. Commit to doing it for 30 days. Be grateful for 30 days. Write your gratitude letter for 30 days. Write your January letter and read it for 30 days. You'll you'll be a different person in 30 days. I guarantee it. You will have a different outlook, a different attitude, a different air, and things will start lining up. Especially with a January letter, you get 100% clear on exactly what you want. That creates clarity, specific clarity on exactly what you want. That alone is a magnetic force that will bring you there. And I want to share this with you, and it's, like I said, some people think, oh, that's all this mumbo jumbo, whatever. I'm just going to work hard and whatever. Why don't you work smart? It's called inspired action. There's action, right? And you can have the thoughts and complain and suck, what everything sucks in your life and how your boss sucks and drive sucks and everything sucks, and then try to take action. It's not going to get you. It creates frustration. It creates stress and anxiety, and you can't sleep, and it's terrible. But if you have aligned action where you're focused on gratitude and everything you're grateful for and everything you love and everything you appreciate and everything that's going great in your life, everything you want to go great in your life and everything you're focused on, what you want to achieve, and then you take action, things line up perfectly. I can't explain it. It just is. Like I said, read Tools of the Titans. Tim Ferriss wrote the book. It's like that thick, like 2 or 3 inches thick. And guess what? He's interviewed some of the most successful people that most of us idol, going, oh my gosh, that guy's incredible. And guess what? They have morning rituals. Tony Robbins has an entire thing, the Hour of Power. It's about a morning ritual. Not this specific ritual, but putting yourselves mentally in the flow of being grateful for what you have. Okay? So focus on that. Go to flip2freedom.com, flip2freedom.com. Download the book for free. You'll love it. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Flip2Freedom. And I will see you guys on the next episode, 152. And we're going to talk about some more killer stuff about the future, about what's going on, and talk more specifically about your wholesaling business and the mechanics to get started. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great week. Take care, and God bless.